What's going on, YouTube? HeirofCarthage here. Gonna bring you some Rome Total War action, obviously in anticipation of the upcoming release of Rome 2 on September 3rd. We'll talk more about Rome 2 in another video that I'm kind of planning in the near future. Hopefully it comes together. If not, then I've got a backup plan. Here's my Carthaginian army. I've got 4 Sacred Band spearmen, pikemen, whatever you want to call them. Gold upgrades, 3 slingers with no upgrades. I have 1 round shield cav here with attack upgrades only, and then I've got 2 Sacred Band cav, 1 on each flank that are gold. This is 10k CWB. My opponent is playing as Macedon. He's got 4 royal pikemen with silver upgrades. Looks like 3 units of archers with probably some attack upgrades. He's got 2 companion cav with silver. Make that 3 companion cav, and then he's got 4 companion cav. My bad. All silver. So that is the armies as they stand. I'm kind of repositioning my army, and so was he, because I kind of made a run for this side, trying to force my opponent not to necessarily have such good high ground. So what I'm doing here is I've got my slingers engaged. They're going to do alright in this engagement. They'll lose to his archers, but they'll do their job at not letting his archers just reign supreme. I'm going to rush my attack forward here. I have very much superior pikemen. Even at equivalent upgrades, my pikemen are superior. But since he does not have equivalent upgrades, I have an infantry advantage. But my opponent has a cav advantage, and he's going to start pushing it here. All I've got is a round shield to protect these slingers. So I'm going to kind of entice my opponent into an attack here. I really want this cavalry to come around my flank right now. And that sounds kind of suicidal, right? But it's because I think I can stop them for long enough with my cav to get my spearmen and my slingers involved in this fight. I remember, I want to say that I might have clicked an attack order to my slingers, but I guess I didn't. Wow, no, I just got really lucky right there. I don't know what in the world happened, but his companion cav just routed the second my Sacred Band touched him. You can see in the infantry fight, my guys are holding their own just fine. My Sacred Band cav is crushing into that flank. And now my spearman can return to keep his general from outflanking me. So I was really lucky there to knock out that companion cav. Not even quite sure how that happened quite so easily. But it did. And here I have a little surprise for my opponent coming back. This was a couple of round shield units that I had hidden from the beginning of the battle in the forest, and I swung them out and around the flank, and I'm now murdering his archers. And I've got my men set up for a hammer and anvil blow. My opponent's companion cav will be coming back from routing, but it'll be too late to affect the outcome of this battle. I now control the battlefield. I've got an advantage on every front at this point. And I'm going to go ahead and drive these round shields home into the back of these royal pikemen. If the unit isn't pretty damaged, round shields won't rout them, but it does give you the morale penalty that you need to help speed things along. You can see here my opponent's companions that had come back from routing. At this point he was typing something to me, that's why he's not pulling them back into the battle. I think he was rather surprised at how fast those companion cav routed. It had to be something to do with the fact that my Sacred Band got them in the back and had a bonus versus cav. Or it could have also maybe been that they felt like they were outnumbered. Sometimes you get a morale penalty from being outnumbered. I had a lot of slingers here, plus the spearmen, plus the cav. So it could have been a local numbers superiority thing or something. In any case, at this point the game is pretty much over, so my little ambush worked there. I had a couple of tactics that worked out, and I managed to micro my army fairly well here, gain myself a victory. My opponent, though, was quite kind. He also wanted a rematch, which I decided to grant him. So it turned into a best of 3, actually. So I'll show you the 3 matches here and let you see what happened. There's the results from that first one. Let's see, casualties inflicted. Sacred Band cavalry got a lot. Round shield cav, that was a lot of archers and other stuff they were killing. But you can see that even my Sacred Band infantry up here with some solid kills. Those guys are very tough. But Macedon has advantages of its own that it can push. Alright, here we are on battle number 2. I brought the same infantry corps, which is 3 gold Sacred Band. This is a rush army. I've got 2 Iberian infantry at gold. They're sitting here on the inside of each flank. And then I've got 2 Libyan spearmen with gold attack, bronze defense. And then I've got 2 Sacred Band cav. My opponent has brought essentially the same army, not quite. This time he's swapped up for Cretan archers here in the center, so he's got 2 regular archers, 1 Cretan. I usually don't get into a missile fight with Macedon because it's not generally cost effective for Carthage to win that. he has a companion cav here with gold, another companion cav with the same. And on this side, he's got 2 light lancers, both with gold upgrades. These guys are not good in a melee fight, but they're excellent on the charge. Now here, notice that my troops start crisscrossing, and I kind of lose control of the infantry fight for a second. It's because I didn't use the Alt and click command here. I clicked and drug a line. That's why my guys switched spots. And then when I was worried about that, I forgot to click my guys back into phalanx. So my opponent's going to get an early bonus here, thanks to my maneuvering. Look what happens over here. My Iberians just got touched by those companion cav, and then my Libyan spearmen routed, even though the cavalry charged them head on. So I had a good plan here. My plan was, and I'll show you the above, and we'll see how it unfolds. My plan was to use the Libyan spearmen to screen an infantry wrap-up with the Iberians, so I was going to quickly wrap around each flank with the Iberians to ensure a quick infantry victory. But because I botched my orders on the infantry, and look, I still haven't clicked a command or an attack order. So this whole time my guys could have been annihilating the Macedonian infantry. They're not. So quickly I'm going to start to try and move to mop up the archers because I'm in trouble. I'm not going to win the cav fight, which means that very soon my opponent is going to have an advantage. And because my infantry had not been killing these royal pikes, and if my infantry had already received an order, they would have killed these royal pikes, and would have done so before my opponent probably could have done anything about it. And even like right here, you can see my Iberians did exactly what I want, and the plan's going quite well here. Otherwise, though, I'm in trouble. I'm having to click attack orders to try and keep my opponent's cav off my back, whereas this fight would have already been won. It's just barely started. Now my opponent's going to get some great hammer and anvil charges on me. And plus, every time my guys turn around, I'm going to take unnecessary losses to his spearmen. Check this out. Boom.
Your general is fleeing from the
General
enemy.
gets nailed.
This is a shameful
So I wrapped up
thing
this
for
flank
your
just the way I'd
army.
like to, and I've got my Libyan spearmen and Iberians back here causing trouble. I'm going to take my Sacred Band into this fight with the light lancers. I was thinking in an extended melee they might be able to win, but he is getting archer support. Still got my guys fighting here. His cav is chasing my routing units at the moment, so there's still some small chance, but not really. These Libyan spearmen are going to get massacred head-on by those phalangists, and very realistic scenario there. My Iberian infantry back here is not going to be doing well. Now I've only got one sturdy infantry unit left, but look at these Sacred Band out here. I told you, light lancers are no good in a melee fight, but they're quite good
Your general has been killed.
in
This may
a
cause panic in your
charge.
army.
So my Sacred Band cav still nearly killed all these guys, but since I just gave him another charge bonus right there, it probably didn't help my cause. Yeah, see my guys rout. If I would have left my guys in melee, I think I would have won that. So, what did my opponent do good here, and what did I try to do good? My plan was sound. Here's the misthinking in my plan. Iberian infantry and Libyan spearmen are both low morale units, which means that it takes just a little bit of a morale shock, and they will rout. So they're a good idea in theory, but since Rome Total War was never very well balanced, they're not really usable. You have to get into some pretty strange scenarios for those units to be usable. Otherwise, they're just too easy to rout in an online battle. So that's one thing I'm excited about for Rome 2. Hopefully the balancing is going to be good, where we get a little bit of unit diversity. Because as you can see, my opponent and I both, are just duking it out with mostly top quality units, which is kind of what the online game of Rome is. Now, I'm not saying that it's not fun, but I love that there's a little more unit diversity in the other Total War games. Now, kudos to my opponent here. He really played this game better than I did, and his cav charges into my infantry were unexpectedly effective. When I say unexpectedly effective, against my Libyan spearmen, they were much more effective than I imagined that they would be. But again, that's because I forgot that my men
an unwelcome guest
had the low morale.
indeed.
So whenever he charged my Libyan spearmen, they were probably near one of the unit of Royal Pikemen, and all it takes is for that charge to come in, and then also for them to have one little other thing going on, like flank exposed or something like that, and they rout. So Iberian infantry, Libyan spearmen, utterly useless unless you're making some rules to where the enemy units are slightly toned down as well, because that's what they are. They're very toned down units. So good game to my opponent, though. Good one. He got me there, and got me good. It was a clear victory for him. Alright, here we are for game 3. Again, same infantry corps, 4 gold sacred band. My cavalry component has changed. I've got 3 gold sacred band cav, and running far and wide on the flanks, I've got a unit of round shield cav with a single upgrade, which is just me spending the rest of my money. My opponent has as well, again, the same infantry corps, 4 silver royal pikes. He's got archers that appear to be the same, 2 regular, 1 cretin, 2 companion cav, 2 light lancers, same upgrades that we saw last time. My opponent probably does not have a cavalry advantage at this point. Sacred Band cav is just as good as companion. He does have a numbers advantage. Well, he actually doesn't have a numbers advantage in cav. It depends on how he uses it. I hold the infantry advantage. My opponent, of course, holds the skirmishing advantage, which is why he's pulling back. He sees that I've got a rush army. He wants to pull back and try and have some advantageous use of his missiles, and we will see if he's able to do so. This time I plan to be a little bit better with my infantry attack. We'll see how it goes. Obviously, if I rush in and get an attack going on his royal pikes, I can win, and he knows this too, which is why he pulled back. My round shield cav is never meant to attack yet at this point. It's just meant to lure. You can see that I've got him clicking commands everywhere with his cav, chasing my round shields, which he's worried are going to hit his archers. Archers aren't my _1 concern at the moment. I do get my guys into phalanx mode relatively quick this time, although it is a bit of a messy engagement. And over here, he begins to fire his missiles at my cav, which is a good move, and he's going to use flaming arrows because it creates a panicked by fire arrow attack type scenario here. I took 2 of my sacred band over here and kind of blobbed them up. Not the best move. I start moving another sacred band to try and head off these light lancers, but as you can see, this is going to be a problem. They're going to get a charge into my men. Indeed they do. That routes my men. Excellent move by my opponent. But here I've caught his light lancers with my round shields, and in a melee fight, those round shields will be just as good as the light lancers. Unfortunately for my opponent, though, the infantry fight is in the mix, and my sacred band are doing what they do best, which is some close combat here, and they're doing quite well. They've taken down all of his royal pike units pretty considerably. And then those round shields that my opponent quit chasing are now going to make short work of his archers. I say short work. They are round shields. You have to give them a minute. I love the idea of this cavalry, like a Falcata armed cavalry. These guys are really underrepresented in this game. I hope these guys make a return in Rome 2. The Falcata armed cavalry was particularly dangerous because the Falcata was weighted to be used on horseback and was really quite deadly in the hands of skilled riders. So my general got charged, I believe, and killed, which is brilliant. But my guys are winning the infantry fight in such a manner that they're not going to rout. Here I'm getting my opponent to turn around. You see my guys are kind of out of formation too. I had to click another attack order. Sometimes your phalangist will start turning around and acting weird. He gets a real charge here with some companions, but it honestly wasn't the best charge. Not quite the right angle. So it did some damage, but didn't rout. I can now charge him in the back, but I've got to watch because he's going to be wanting to turn around these pikes. So that shook up his pikes a little bit. Those are just round shields. It's not going to be a decisive rout. And then look, the flaming arrows routed this round shield cavalry. So I'm going to have to take this round shield after his archers, which is not good for me. But I am pretty decisively winning the infantry fight. When I say that, it's actually pretty even right now. But my opponent has cavalry charging around out here. I did get his cavalry right there, though. But he also got my guys. I say I got them. There's 3 of them left. They didn't quite rout. Fortunately for me, though, I've got some cavalry that's coming back from routing back here as my sacred bands. They routed with quite a few men left. I have not realized it yet, though. So it's kind of a desperate fight for me. My round shields do land the blow, though, and rout those archers. I was worried they were going to rout before they got to the archers. You can see my infantry routed in this sector. So I'm left with 1 solid infantry unit, which is right. Actually, I think 2 infantry units. No, just 1. Yeah, I've got the 1 infantry unit. Routed another one of his light lancers. So my opponent is doesn't have any cavalry at this point, but he does outnumber me with infantry. Look, he's got 1 unit behind me and 2 units in front. So I've got to quickly get some charges here. But my opponent can't necessarily just sit and wait for his 1 infantry unit to win the fight, because they won't. So it's going to be hard for him to guard from these types of attacks, because I can come from all angles and my infantry can keep working their magic. which is going to be very advantageous for me. So this could have been a little bit easier victory for me, but my opponent played well. He tried to undo me, and I really like what he did with the flaming arrows and the rear charge into my cav. That was very well done, whereas my cavalry control was quite poor. But what I lacked in good control, I was able to make up with getting those round shields into his archers, getting them routed, my infantry doing what they do. So even though some people might say, "Oh, Harry, you got outdone there," I did in a few spots, but I think what I did know there was that my infantry would win the fight, and so that I should go get them into the fight. Didn't go quite as well as I'd hoped, but because I got them in there early, his men suffered enough damage that it didn't put me in the same type of scenario that you saw me in that second battle. So good games to my opponent. It was quite fun. I enjoyed it. Here's the statistics. Once again, I'm assuming, yeah, one of my round shield cav actually got the most kills, 183 kills. Not bad at all for a round shield cav. So, hope you enjoyed these. I'm definitely getting excited about Rome 2. I'm planning a video soon that's probably not going to be so much a video as it is going to be maybe kind of like a live broadcast where I get on and show you all the latest news about Rome 2. Plus, I want to do the next Take a Katana to Patchy event on Shogun 2. I'm planning on doing all that not this Saturday, but the next Saturday. So I don't have a calendar in front of me, but you all can figure that out. This coming Saturday is, let's see, today is 21st, 22nd, I guess, so it'll be the 29th that I'm looking to do the next live event. I'll get it scheduled and put up on my channel so that you all know, and I will do it at such a time that folks all across the world can participate. I say that it's not going to be perfect for everybody because obviously no matter where you are, there's someone 12 hours away from me or some other inconvenient time, so I can't make it work for everybody. But if I do it like I do early in the morning my time, that means that if you're in the US, you can wake up. If you're in Europe, it should be about midday. If you're in Far Eastern Europe, then it should be evening. And if you're in Australia, then it kind of just stinks. There's very little that I can do for you. I apologize for that. So, in any case, HeirofCarthage signing off for now. Hope you enjoyed the battle.